putting people's lives in danger. It's putting our national intelligence. It's throwing them completely under the bus for their own benefit.
Listen, I think Julian Assange is a traitor.
Excuse me, maybe I was clumsy in the way that I said it.
You know, I'm 2 feet away. I don't need you to scream at me this way.
Abby was, I don't know what you just said.
Are you listening?
I said don't scream at me. I'm 2 feet away.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, the way he's treated Betsy DeVos and that entire interaction, right. I don't know how this woman, who was very rich and could go, you know, sit in a yacht, is still working for him, because he has thrown her under the bus. He's, you know, not that, you know, she comes across heartless, not that she needs much help on that, but, you know, she's being called Cruella DeVos, and she's still working for him after he yanks the rug from under her feet. But more than that, you know, Special Olympics is something that we were all so passionate about, and we all recognize the name. But it's not just Special Olympics. It was millions and millions and millions of dollars in grants for special education, for autism, for blind students, a 26% cut for state grants. And so we have got to be vigilant that it is not only Special Olympics that is getting reinstated, but it is all these grants, because I don't want these faux Christians talking to me about, you know, how to treat people if we can't treat the needy and the people who need this help with compassion.
Well, it just shows you, though, doesn't it, what this administration is all about? Right there, it shows you that.
Well,
but to the point that she's working for him when she's so rich and has 10 yachts. Have you seen the pictures? She's really rich, and really rich. Rhymes with rich, huh?
Well, I don't think her wealth should be held against her in this situation. I mean, I actually think it's admirable when people are extremely wealthy and decide to go into public service. If we could just, again, extract emotion from some of these conversations and stick with facts instead of doing character assassinations on people, I think it's more effective.
It is because the American people got emotional and showed their heart and their anger and their frustration that this is getting over. If we just sat there reading statistics,
I don't believe I'm sitting and reading statistics.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the American people in general.
There's an emotion. 100%. I think even most Republicans, if you're being honest for where the Republican Party once stood for in America First policy, you should be anxious. And this meeting lasted 90 minutes, which is way longer than
2 hours.
2 hours, excuse me.
Such few voices in the Republican Party who remember what the Ronald Reagan Republican Party was like. When we remember those, you know, summits, you know what? The Republican Party is sadly silent and thus complicit with what is going on.
I'm not silent.
We'll be right.
Meghan, you are joining the club.
Yeah, I joined the club because I don't think just because you have children and dogs and chickens doesn't mean you should be left out. So @Meghan's_cactus is an actual thing now, because I love my cactus. And my mother has gotten in on it, and she's living for it. And she said, quote, these are my grand cactus children to Meghan's cactus. If you drink your water and stay in the sun, you'll grow big and strong like your cousins. So anyone who doesn't have a kid or a dog, you no longer need to feel bad because you got a cactus.
You see, it's like,
that's all you need.
You just made Colin's point. Arizona's like a litter box, and that's like your cat.
Oh, you're not gonna live that one down.
All right, this is nasty. Like, this is fun.
I love Arizona.
I don't think a cactus should count, though.
I think it's...
You know, I really don't think we should ask of it that way, because it shouldn't be.
All right, how would you ask it?
When the hell is this going to end and our federal workers going to start getting paid? When is Congress going to do its job? When are the people running government going to behave like adults and stop posturing and stop making these stupid arguments because they are trying to appeal to a base? It was basically, you know, I felt like it was like that Adele song. Hello, it's me. You know, I'm here. It's not all about Nancy. Festival.
You were there at the thing?
I was in Washington. Yeah, I was in Washington.
I thought you meant in the room.
At the press briefing room in the Donald Trump's White House.
Stranger things have happened, man. I don't know.
Hit me, Daddy! Hit me!
She's a close friend of Sarah Huckabee. But anyway,
I think that's common. You know, a year ago, that could have made a difference.
Black women saved Alabama. They can save the country.
For someone, the question I have, though, is, like, when I hear you talk, Anna, Does that mean you prefer Democratic candidates now? Because I haven't, like, just
To
because I'm not a
Meghan,
Trumper, it
to
doesn't mean I'm a Democrat.
No, listen, to Donald
the way you
Trump,
sound right
I
now-
would prefer a potted plant
I'm
to
talking
Donald
about
Trump.
local candidates.
I would prefer a
But
mannequin to
here's
Donald
the
Trump.
thing But I'm talking about the Senate. I wasn't talking about the presidency, like Senate elections. When you're talking
hell
about
yes,
Senate
if I have to choose between a pedophile or Doug Jones, who's a Democrat, I'll
not
take the Democrat. I mean, you know, but those are the choices we've had in front
Between
of
a
us.
pedophile and a Democrat?
a pedophile, but I think that there's maybe this misunderstanding that because you're not a Trump supporter, that automatically you're a liberal. And there is a lot of gray in between. I even think
But
for liberals,
don't you
there's a
agree
lot
that
of
the
gray in
Republican
between.
Party is no longer the party of Ronald Reagan and Eisenhower? Come on.
We're having an internal,
I think
battle
that
about
I
that.
have never felt more defensive of Trump's base. I've never felt more conservative, and I've never felt more defensive of the middle of the country than I have since I started working on this show.
I'd like to respond to that. Kaylee, I don't know you. Seriously, do you have any integrity at all? I just have to know. I mean, is it that important to be on national television?
But if you want to talk about actual diplomacy and things that are happening with Russia, that is a very different thing. I would love for this table, not Meghan
So
included, because she's different,
you really
but to
believe
give him
that's why he
credit
canceled
on
that meeting?
something.
You believe he canceled the meeting because he's so concerned about
Well,
the Ukrainian
I
soldiers?
can tell you, because I talked to my dad, who lives in Moscow and deals with this every single day, that they were already figuring this out before he decided to cancel it. They were already making that decision.
What other bullshit do you have the nerve to share with us this morning?
I'm actually talking to people that are in those discussions and know what's going on.
Listen, Abby, your dad was not in the alone time that Trump had with Putin in Helsinki. Nobody was. It was Trump, Putin, and some translators. I don't know if he was a translator. Maybe he was.
Didn't Obama also impose sanctions on Russia, which crippled their economy, and that's one of the reasons why Trump Jr. had that meeting?
The Magnitsky Act happened because of my father. It had nothing to do with Obama, and let's keep that very straight.
But he did impose sanctions as
I'm
well.
sorry, but the normalizing of what happened with Putin happened under Democrats' watch as well. Abby's 100% right on it. Nobody has cared about Putin until all the human rights violations, the annexing of Crimea, everything in the Ukraine. Nobody cared until the election. So don't tell me this isn't politically
Because the
motivated.
elections are a bastion of our democracy, and coming after our elections,
Human rights should be as
our
well.
elections is an attack on our
Human
national
rights, the
security.
torturing of a...
Okay,
I'm sorry,
we
you don't
gotta
care
go.
about Sergei Magnitsky being tortured and killed for being someone who sounded the alarm
Ladies, but you're
we have to
asking
take
what
a
is
break.
different. You know, it's not family separation was a low point.
Yeah,
Family
still.
separation is a low point.
Over
there are
500
children
kids.
still separated from their parents today. As we say here. You represent some of them.
What are you talking about?
Well, you do represent
Enemies?
some of those
We represent over
families.
70 children.
So what's up?
They don't come from a traditional political family, and in political families, normally, much like I always compare it to being in a mafia family, like you do have influence over other people. My father has great influence over me. I wouldn't be on this show if he didn't have great influence over me. I think that I have influence over him as well. I would rather have a conversation about why Republicans don't have the same kind of fair and balanced media coverage than Democrats do, than automatically jumping to terminology like enemy.
But Meghan, the Republicans have a station that's dedicated to
So
their
do Democrats,
propaganda.
CNN.
Now,
That is not true.
CNN,
My
CNN
perspective.
Listen,
false.
CNN
Watch
tries
it.
to be very balanced. CNN has commentators on like me, and every time I'm on against somebody that is defending Trump. So, I mean, MSNBC, where you worked once, well, you might want to say
very long time
okay,
ago.
but it's
and
part of your history
don't
and
come
something
for
you should
me.
be.
I'm just
well, you
telling
just came for CNN knowing I'm a CNNer.
I wasn't directed at you. I'm just...
You ain't nobody.
Agree that
Jake
Fox
Tapper
also
is a
has a
hell of a
bias.
journalist.
Of course
Anderson
Fox
Cooper
has
is a hell of a
bias, but the idea-
journalist.
One at a time.
You know,
But
one
Fox
at a
is
time.
popular because it's one network. I used to work there as well for many years.
have a bias. She admits that. I mean,
yes,
Fox
of
does have
course.
a
so
bias.
It's one
MSNBC, where you
network
work,
compared
does
to
not
the-
have a bias?
I also worked at Fox News. I worked
Right.
at both.
That one has a
okay?
bias.
And
We
now
know that. We've
okay,
established
see,
that.
You definitely wasting your time, because if you thought you was gonna come here and continue to out of me,
Ain't nobody lying.
Yeah, well,
Ain't nobody
I just called you out on every last one of your lies.
You ain't called
Why are you relitigating my career right now? And now I'm on ABC.
Because
I
you
worked
were
at
on
many
CNN,
networks.
which is my
You know,
career.
before we said we're talking about
Where's the
Obama.
bell?
No,
Yeah,
forget
where
the
is that bell?
We don't need the bell.
And by the way,
I like the bell.
I hope you get it together.
I hope you do so.
Ooh, girl. Is there anything else you want?
scared? No. But I also just want to say one thing. I worked at MSNBC. I was a host on Fox. Okay.
A lot of people start listening who wouldn't otherwise listen.
And the same with the defense side of it.
Yeah.
in terms of the whole sort of ecosystem.
No, everybody calm down.
You're a very distraught, evil human being. I don't want to see you, okay?
You see, Meghan, it's not just you and me, and they're flesh and blood. But I mean, to say you're the least exciting to look at was really the low blow, I think.
Obama, the president's, here it is, why Americans have to worry about a government shutdown is because Obama refuses to pass a budget. Well, now it's Donald J. Trump's turn.
Question I have right now
He's
is,
refusing
in the
to pass
negotiations right now, that's not accurate. It's not accurate. The question I have for you specifically, because I know DACA is a big issue for you, Anna, is that...
Hit me, Daddy! Hit me!
Luis Gutierrez yesterday said he would hypothetically agree to building this wall if DACA got passed. Do you think that's a winning idea for Democrats at this point?
Yes, and I think they've already offered it to the White House. But I would say to, to Mitch McConnell, I would say to everybody, because it's going to happen on both sides, do not play with the people that are defending our national security, that are putting their lives at risk to keep the rest of us safe.
I agree with that. Obviously, I agree with that. DACA is a very, very emotional issue. I agree with you, Anna, that this should be an easy layup, quite frankly, on both sides because of how popular it is. But to sit here and say that this government shutdown has anything to do with my or the Republican Party's love for the troops is just intellectually dishonest.
No, we're not saying that. We're saying
that's not what they said.
We're not saying that. I mean, do you think Mitch McConnell should have allowed that amendment, allowing for pay benefits for the family of the fallen and allowing for pay for the armed forces?
This is playing party politics.
Exactly.
We have another month to figure out DACA until March. They're attaching it to a spending bill.
They attach everything to a spending bill.
Girl, ooh, Jesus, take the wheel.
There is no way to get anything done.
Hold on now. We're not, listen, wait. Okay, if we're going to have this conversation, we're going to have it clearly. And there's too much over talk, okay? Right. So everybody just, it's great. All right?
I understand that DACA is a very emotional issue at this point, but most Republicans are on my side on this one, Anna. And I just don't, it's really difficult for me to understand sometimes why you still consider yourself a Republican.
Because I'm a Hispanic immigrant Latina, because I was brought to this country when I was 8 years old. Because my parents fled communism, and it was not my decision to come here. I came here through no decision of my own. I came here through no fault of my own. Had my parents not had visas, had my parents not had the resources to hire lawyers, I would be a DREAM Act kid too. That's why this is personal.
Whatever. Kiss the crack of my ass, bitch.
Hey, you can smell mine. Can I have another
politics with this? And there's a lot of people on the left who are doing that.
So
with
who are you
Julian
mad
Assange.
at here? Are you mad at the whistleblower? I'm asking the question.
I'm mad that there are people on the left that think that Julian Assange is okay, that he's some kind of patriot whistleblower when he did interfere in our election. If you have a problem with this whistleblower, or you think he's a hero, then you should have a problem with WikiLeaks as well at the same time.
I'm with you. I have a problem with both, but the difference.
Thank you so much.
But the difference, what I see as a difference, though, is I think that if we don't talk about it, and I think that if there is not public pressure, they'd like for it to go away.
They'd like to go away.
Well, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the administration, the people who are actually impacted by this, the people who send out Rudy Giuliani.
All Americans are impacted by this.
You got like an attitude now. No, I don't. It's a little, baby.
But what I'm talking about, the administration. I'm talking about sending Rudy Giuliani out to distract us. I'm talking about telling us yesterday that, I don't know, Stephen Miller is actually dating a human being, not an inflatable, to distract us. They do those things.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
I mean, why do you gotta come to an event and hate when you can just come on, Minnie?
Come on, Juice.
But it's an attempt at humor.
But the alternative is asking if Nancy Pelosi is going to impeach the president over this, and we don't even know what happened yet. I'm like, this is insanity. Why are we talking about Nancy Pelosi impeaching the president?
There's way too much talk about
impeachment. I'm confused
impeachment.
in the sense that, so people, you're saying, Meghan, that people are against this whistleblower?
There's a lot of people who are okay with what Julian Assange did, who are not okay with what I'm sorry, that are okay with what Julian Assange did and not okay with what this whistleblower did.
And who are those
okay,
people?
I'm sorry.
But saying, though, it's what Julian Assange did, in my mind, too, is just as dangerous as what the president is being charged with doing, or people are assuming that he did. It's putting people's lives in danger. It's putting our national intelligence. It's throwing them completely under the bus for their own benefit.
Listen, I think Julian Assange is a traitor.
Excuse me, maybe I was clumsy in the way that I said it.
I'm 2 feet away. I don't need you to scream at me this way.
Abby was, I don't know what you just said, but
I said don't scream at me. I'm 2 feet away.
For you to act and stoop that low.
For me to stoop low?
I'll read it.
You know what?
Let me read it. Trump has denied doing anything improper. We'll be right back.
If you can be a lady, then you can come back.
I've been a lady.
Black ass out.
My ass ain't black, bitch. And you can kiss it.
Later, climate strike. Millions of school kids are staging a worldwide walkout to sound the alarm about a future of environmental devastation. Will it be a wake-up call?
Jeez. This bitch.
Summit.
You know what?
The Republican Party is sadly silent and thus complicit with what's going on.
I'm not silent.
Damn.
Anyways, like when I hear you talk, Anna, does that mean you prefer Democratic candidates now? But most Republicans are on my side on this one, Anna.
We're having an internal battle about that.
I've never felt more defensive of Trump's base.
I would prefer a potted plant
I'm
to
talking
Donald
about
Trump.
local candidates.
I would prefer a mannequin to Donald Trump.
I don't know what that means.
Humor.
It's really difficult for me to understand sometimes why you still consider yourself
Because
a Republican.
I'm a Hispanic. I think that's comic.
Excuse me, why are you relitigating my career?
I came here through no decision of my own.
You don't care about Sergei Magnitsky being tortured and killed? I don't know what you just said. But
I said don't scream at me. I'm 2 feet away.
I'll read it.
You know what?
Let me read it.
It's doing something you should be. Well, you just came for CNN knowing I'm a CNNer. Had my parents not had the resources to hire lawyers, I would be a Dream Act kid too. That's why this is personal.